Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Your home for all content Lord of the Rings home. We got some special surprise news for you today. I didn't think they were going to be dropping the Bilbo kit so soon, but today we've got news of the Bilbo Baggins kit, the final member of Thorin's company that's coming out with Bombur and Thorin. Thorin, of course, his event has started today. I'm going to be live streaming as soon as this video is out, basically, as close to 11 a.m. as I can. Unlocking Thorin and then testing him in Chapter 2, so stop on by. But let's quickly go through his kit. He's a support Thorin's company Hobbit. Notice there's no leadership tag. I think a few people were confused about why this is a marquee because they made it seem like it wasn't going to be a marquee, but originally they did say it was a marquee, but I think people thought, oh, because Nick mentioned some of the dialogue part that's his favorite in the Journey Ahead, it's not going to be a marquee. It's a marquee. Let's talk about when it actually is. Also note that it's no leadership ability, I should say. So this is Bilbo right at the start of their journey in Baggins, something that they've said previously. He's not leading anybody at the moment, right? I think that's mostly at the end of his journey. Okay, so start time is December 18th and ends Christmas Day, the 25th. That basically, as soon as Thorin's event ends, Bilbo's event is starting. So there's a little bit of overlap between Bombur and Bilbo, just like there's a little bit of overlap between Bombur and Thorin. And then we'll have everything finished up by the end, by Christmas. My guess is that they probably don't have anything else planned down here. In terms of marquee releases, I guess I could be wrong there, but my guess is that they're kind of taking these 2 weeks and just chilling out for a little bit. So let's get into the kit. His basic is called Walking Stick. He just kind of goes up and does a two-hand overhead smash there. At unlock, attack the target enemy for 80% damage and 50% chance to dispel one boon, prioritizing Taunt and Provoke. Interesting. At max upgrade, attack the target enemy for 170% damage. So a big increase in damage, 90% increase. Guaranteed chance, you're dispelling not one but two boons, prioritizing Taunt and Provoke. So to me, this is an anti-Eladin basic. Yeah. And this is basically so that Bilbo can sort of clear the way for Thorin being able to put marked on the person that they want to put marked on, that Thorin's company wants to target. So I think this is a pretty necessary thing to have in his kit. It's interesting though, because Bifur also has a dispel on basic, but it is just one boon. This is going to be pretty good in Chapter 2, though, especially if you keep Bifur in there. I'm not sure that's going to necessarily be what you want to do, but if you do have Bifur in there, then you have both Bifur and Bilbo dispelling boons on their basic, which is nuts. Let's take a look at the special one. Special ability 1 is called Honest Burglar. I really like the animation here. Again, I think these are pretty good. I really like Bombur's animation, and I so far really like Bilbo's animation as well. This is a turn 2 ability with a 4 stamina cooldown, so you start off with 3 out of 4. At unlock, transfer 1 Bane from self to target enemy. Attack the target enemy for 120% damage. So you're able to take the Banes that the enemy team applied to you and put them back on the enemy team. I think that's a really fun little mechanic for him. I really like that. I'm not sure how useful it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be maybe a little bit anti-AoE Bane, but are you really going to be targeting Bilbo? I'm not so sure. Has some interesting implications for Chapter 3, though. Imagine you can basically take marked or captured and throw it back onto the enemy orcs. I'm getting some clarification from CG Heem on that. I'll post what I find in the pinned comment below. My guess is for sure you'll be able to take the marked and put it back on them. Just because it works well with Thorin's kit, right? But I don't know about the capture stacks. It would be fun to give, the orcs a taste of their own medicine. At max upgrade, though, you're not just transferring 1 Bane, you're transferring 2 Banes from self to target enemy, and then a massive increase in damage, 120% up to 270%, right? 150% increase in damage. And then you're also inflicting disable for 1 turn, which I think is an interesting little move, because what that means is that you can essentially you can take the debuffs you have on yourself, put them on somebody else, and then apply disable, preventing somebody possibly from cleansing or taunting or doing something that might get rid of those Banes as well. I really like this move. I think it's an interesting Definitely not something I was expecting to see in Bilbo's kit. I thought Okay, to make a really good Thorin's Company, they're going to need a some sort of cleanse and another way to apply marked. This might be the way to do it. I guess if you're playing a mirror match against AI, is hope that they mark Bilbo and then you can just mark them right back with this special one. Interesting, though, that it is also a turn 2 ability. Actually, a lot of the hobbits have that, is that they kind of have their abilities on cooldown. They want you to do a basic first, but let's go see what the special 2 is about. His special ability 2 is called Expert Treasure Hunter. Oh my god, I love this animation. It's so cool. It's just the disrespect. You go up, you blow smoke in their face, and then you swipe their stuff. It's a devious lick. I'm not going to call him Bilbo Baggins. I'm going to call him Billabong Baggins, just for the smoke blowing aspect of it. This is another turn 2 ability, though. Again, 3 out of 4 on this particular ability. I think that might make him a decent candidate for Lembas. However, there's still going to be some RNG in the fact that which ability gets filled first is going to, change match to match. Yeah, I think that's an interesting maybe strategy. I'll have to think more about it, but Lembas seems to be a decent option for him, as well as a lot of the other hobbits, to be honest with you. Merry's a good example. So at unlock, steal 1 boon from the target enemy, excluding taunt and provoke, and grant them to the most wounded squad member. Attack the target enemy for 130% damage. So I like that they're playing up the thievery aspect of it. But the animation shows him going into stealth, so that must be at max upgrade. Steal 3 boons at max upgrade. That's a lot of boons. From the target enemy, excluding taunt and provoke, grant them to the most wounded squad member. Attack the target enemy for 290% damage. This is like if he's got a high offensive stat, high damage stat, he's going to hit pretty hard too. Like his skills do a lot of damage. Inflict blind for 1 turn. Gain stealth for 1 turn. Oh, I really like this. So I really like this thievery aspect of it. It's basically go up and the blind as well. That's very thematic with the animation and just going up there and what he's doing. This is going to be a crazy skill. I think you should still be able to... There's a lot of interactions that we're probably going to have to figure out. Kind of, like if you're blinded and you use special 1, are you going to be able to put that blind on the enemy, or does it just miss? How does this interact with nimble? What happens with momentum, right? You can't steal momentum, but could you kind of like reduce momentum in this way? I don't know. There's a lot of niche interactions to sort of figure out, but I really like the animations for his kit are awesome. Billabong Baggins. And I really like the thematic, cohesiveness of it all. Let's go see what his passive is about. His passive is called Hurried Hobbit. At unlock, when attacked, gain 5% turn meter. If the attacker has a boon, 25% chance to gain 1 stamina for Expert Treasure Hunter. Interesting. Okay. So at max upgrade, when attacked, gain 25% turn meter. If the attacker has a boon, gain 1 stamina for Expert Treasure Hunter. So basically, the more you hit him, this is also, again, very I guess he is very anti-AoE. So think Elrond's Wave, right? Elrond's Wave hits, he gets slow, but he's also getting that 25% turn meter at max. Especially if the attacker has a boon. That's just very anti-Rivendell Elves, right? And then he's going to get 1 stamina for Expert Treasure Hunter. So he's going to be able to steal a bunch of boons and do blind and then put himself under stealth. So this has a lot of utility against Elrond. It's also got some interesting utility against, for chapter 3 of the raid as well. People were thinking, oh, you probably want to still keep Biffer in there just because he can provide provoke for somebody. But maybe you do want to keep Bilbo into this team because he has an ability that basically gives him a bunch of, it gives him stealth, so he's going to get rid of marked, right? It's also going to apply blind, stealing boons like Unbreakable, which is going to be really, really great. And he gives them to the most wounded squad member, which is likely the person who's getting just barraged by the orcs in chapter 3. And then when he gets targeted for capture, oh, that's so interesting. He's a thief and he's a hobbit. And so if he gets targeted for capture, he's just going to get a bunch of turn meter and basically be able to sort of wriggle himself out of that particular situation, especially because he's getting stamina specifically for his ability that gives him stealth. The blind is also going to be key. Also, of course, yes, like I mentioned earlier, stealing the Unbreakables. So I I do think Lembas might be a good option for him here. I guess we'll have to see what his stats are too, in terms of like what you're going to want for primaries. My guess is you'll want a little bit of focus, but my guess is also that he's probably got not very much HP, and his damage is probably pretty decent, and he probably goes pretty fast. So this kit is sort of like, you want Bilbo to sort of clear the way in case somebody decides to glyph their Eladin to be so fast that you can essentially shut down any sort of putting marked on Elrond right away, let's say. I'm pretty happy with the kit. I really love the animations, especially a special 2. I didn't expect this today, but this is an interesting kit. Didn't have anything that I thought it was going to have. No extra marked, no cleanse. So I think they're going to be probably hot garbage in chapter 4. Maybe we can work around that some way, slot somebody else in, but they just don't have any cleansing, right? I mean, Biffer, his cleanse is not really a cleanse. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you happy with Bilbo's kit? I really like the thematic cohesiveness of it all. Yeah, pretty happy with it. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.